So lesson 8 is completing part 2 practice problems of that original PDF of the notes from yesterday. 1 through 9 is on these 2 pages. So I'm going to go over a few with you. So following the instructions from the pages before, right, we kind of walked through the step by step. You should have been taking notes on it and or looking at this for these examples. So I'm going to do a few with you guys. So it says calculate the value of x in the nearest tenth. They set up our equation for us. So we have sine of 38 degrees equals x over 30. So you're calculating the value for x, so we're trying to solve for x. So think about it, you have a fraction here. How do you get rid of a fraction? You can multiply by the denominator, so let's multiply by 80 on both sides, right? We've got to make it equivalent. All right, so if I multiply the numerator by 80 and the denominator is 80, then these cancel out. So I'm left with, on this side, 80 times sine of 38 equals x. And all I do is put this in the calculator. So I have sine of 38 equals, so let's do that here, sine of 38 degrees. So sine 38 is 0.61566, and then we multiply that by 80. So you can put, you can put that in there if you want. This equals 49.25. They say to the nearest tenth. So if we have 49.25, remember, if this number is 5 or greater, we round up. So 49.3 is x. And again, this is a side length that we're solving for. Okay? So again, very similar to the top one, very similar to this one. Okay? Number 4, determine the length of side x to the nearest tenth. So we're trying to find x. Remember in the beginning they said put your finger on the angle you're solving for and figure out what sides you have. So we have this angle 48. So in relation to 48, what do I have? Do I have the opposite? This is the hypotenuse. All right, so it's the longest one or the one across from this. And this is my adjacent. It's next to or touching. So a lot of you are still having difficulties with this, with just labeling the triangle, so we're going to be practicing later this week. So what I'm given is x is adjacent, and the 38 is the hypotenuse. I don't have the opposite. So when I write down SOHCAHTOA, remember this is sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. This means cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. And this means tan is opposite over adjacent. Which one should I use? Well, I have adjacent. Well, I need adjacent and I have hypotenuse. I need adjacent and have hypotenuse. So I don't have any of the opposite. So obviously we're not going to use these. We're going to use cosine. So my cosine of angle 48 equals my adjacent's x over my hypotenuse is 38. Okay, again, I want to solve for x, so multiply by 38 over 1 on both sides. All right, it's my denominator. I want to get rid of it. Move it to this side. So now I have 38 times cosine of 48 equals x. So let's find out what cosine of 48 is first. Times 38, 25.4. So x equals 25.4, and that's again a length. Okay. So this one's the same. So let me just help you with labeling. So here's my angle. This is the hypotenuse. And this is the opposite of 51. So I have O and H. So you should know which function to use for that one and to show your work like I did for number 4. Number 6, again, here's my angle. This is my hypotenuse. This is opposite. And this is adjacent. So I have adjacent, but I need opposite. So I have, don't do A over O. There's a specific function that's only O over A. So don't make sure the ratios are in specific form, right? You can't just flip these around. So you should know what OA is and know what to use for that one. Number 7 is the same idea, it's just a different type of triangle. So here's my angle. This is my hypotenuse. This is opposite. And this is adjacent. So again, what do we have and what do I need to find? I have 83, which is the adjacent, and I need to know opposite. So again, we have A, O, and A. So is it O over A or A over O? And which function is that? It should just be O over A. This doesn't exist. And this is tan. Okay? Number 8 says determine the side length to nearest hundred, so same idea. So I'll just do number 7 with you. You have to do number 8. So for this one, we're doing tan of x equals opposite over adjacent. Tan of 20 equals my opposite, which is W over 83. Again, multiply 83 over 1 to both sides. Multiply by my denominator, get rid of it. 83 times 83 divided by 83 is crosses out to 1. So I'm left with W, and then I have 83 tan 20. 83 times, and I put in parentheses just in case, 30.2. So W equals 30.2. All right, so you'll do number 8. Number 9, for triangle pictured, Marcy placed her finger on the 38-degree angle. Include that sine of 38 equals x over 80. Likewise, Timmy placed his finger on 52. Include that cosine of 52 equals x over 80. If you solve it Marcy's way, what answer will she get? So let's make sure Marcy's correct. So if we put our finger on 38, what do we have? So this is the opposite, good. And this is the hypotenuse. So Marcy said sine of 38 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Is she good? So remember these, right? So you're going to tell me if she did it correctly, and then what does she get? If you solve it Timmy's way, so Timmy put his finger here instead, and he said cosine. Cosine, you have to have the adjacent and the hypotenuse. So he said the adjacent was x, and the hypotenuse was 80. So you're going to tell me if he's correct and what he gets. And are these results reasonable? So, like, does this make sense? And why? Like, who is correct? Why are they correct? So make sure you answer that, okay? So again, the green is Tim's way, and the purple is Marcy's way. All right, so you're gonna fill that out.